I welcome all the participants and learners in the present and session of the topic again on the community dynamics, the continuation of that. In the last session, we have discussed about the dissociative aspect of community dynamics, where we discussed the conflict, competition and conflict. Let's moving ahead with the conflict resolution management. This is the conflict is that society is as old as the society itself. It is actual or perceived disagreement over some issues. A conflict exists whenever incompatible activities occur. It has the potential to assume bigger proportions. It may be defined as a social situation to which two individuals strive to acquire a set of resources at the same period. It could be at any level: social, religious, regional, national, or international level. Different cultures have different approaches to conflicts. Some cultures chooses to address their disputes directly, and some chooses to avoid facing the clash. In some cultures, voicing frustration is regarded as normal, and yet in another it is rude to do so. Even the word conflict itself might have diverse connotation in different languages. So conflict is, as we have already discussed, it's the part and parcel of every community, or every community, any community which is evolving, any community which is progressing. So there is always some kind of the competition is there, and then so the conflict is there. So you cannot avoid the conflict, but just it's very important to manage that conflict in a more positive manner, right? So conflict resolution is a range of method for alleviating or eliminating sources of conflict. So conflict resolution as a term include the method and process involved in facilitating the peaceful ending of conflict and resolution. It may be defined as a situation where the conflicting parties enter into agreement that solve their incompatibilities, disputes, problem, and cases all violent action against each other, encompasses non-violent measures with the aim to promote effective solution, negotiation, mediation, arbitration, diplomacy, and creative peace building are some of the important strategies to conflict resolution. So that is what we are going to discuss in this today's session. Analysis of the conflict. So how you understand the conflict, this is very important. In the last session, you understand what is conflict, what are the causes of the conflict. Now in this presentation, we are going to discuss about that how you can manage the conflict. And before coming to the management of the conflict, first thing is about analysis of the conflict and to identify the conflict, how you are going to analyze and identify the conflict within the community. The initial analysis is composed of problem tree analysis to understand the root cause of conflict, precipitating factors, and then triggering effects. Means it's like a tree analysis, means the root cause, the basic cause, which is somehow being very deep rooted. So the root cause, and then precipitating factors, there are the branches is coming out because of that conflict, and then triggering effects. What if it has been silent, the conflict is silent, what happened, then it is going to be triggered. So we have to be looking into through the problem tree analysis. So analysis of the conflict that involves mapping existing or potential conflicts by the agency with their office, and then mapping helps in appraising cause and levels of conflict after careful analysis. So mapping of conflict is very important. It's again an abstract idea. Mapping doesn't mean here that you have to pen down the thing and you draw the physical map kind of things. It's a kind of abstract idea that you have to map the conflicts. Means you have to understand the cause, present day conflict, the causes of that conflict, the factors of the conflict, and what is going to be hamper, and how it is going to be problematic in a coming future, long term and short term impacts of that conflict. So you have to draw the whole thing, and who are involved into this, who are the parties on this conflict. So these all are the things as a come under the mapping of conflict. So first thing is that within that is the stakeholder analysis, to gauge who may add fuel to conflict situation and make it worse, and who in the community may mediate, negotiate to restore harmony and peace. So you have to understand that stakeholders within community, that who is actually creating the problem, and who are potential, who's having the potential to resolve this conflict. So identification of these stakeholders are very important, that who to avoid and who to promote. Again, so after analysis of the stakeholders analysis, will be in a better situation to handle the conflict if it comes. Risk analysis, the second thing, comprehending which moves can put stakeholders or parties involved into risk, and also examining which stakeholders are more at risk and in which manner. So the different parties may be behind particular aspect of the conflict. So you have to be very much careful in that who is going to be benefited with this risk, who is with this conflict, who are at the major risk. If this risk happened, so how it is going to be affect them, means the degree of effect and the potential of that risk is how much. So that is what the risk analysis. It is followed by participatory analysis with the larger community. So participatory approach, that at the end of the all the sessions or the last weeks of this paper, we will discuss about the different participatory approach that is also that is going to help you out while working in the community. And that's very beautiful and interesting tools and techniques we are going to discuss in the last week of this course. So conflict analysis further. A conflict is often more complex than it seems, right? You understand that a conflict is there, but it's very complex. How do that participant frame the conflict? To what extent and their views alike? And how do they differ? How do others frame the conflict? What seem to be the immediate or proximate factors behind the conflict? Are there deeper livelihood, institutional, political, or other structural factors behind the conflict? Trying to manage a conflict as a single isolated event may be of little use if it is interwoven with the wider problem issues. So we have discussed earlier also the community is the ecological aspect of the community. We have also studied that how this system theory, that how one subsystem is been affected by another subsystem. So we have you see that conflict, but you also have to understand what are the interlinked aspects, because you have to go with the more holistic approach, because if the problem is here, it is definitely its roots and it stems with some other area. So you have to cut all, you have to look into every aspect. Who is involved in the conflicts? Again, we have already discussed in this. So effective consensus building depending on engaging all the stakeholders, groups that are relevant to the conflict. It is therefore important to identify stakeholders accurately, that we have already discussed. What motivation or incentives exist for the parties to settle their conflict? So again, this is important, trying to get people to settle down conflict through some kind of the means, or just tell them that this conflict is going to be problematic for you, and these kind of things you are going to lose, and if the conflict will resolve, you are going to get benefit out of this. So try to make a win-win approach kind of the things, where both the parties get something out of those conflict resolution. So once both the parties got realized that okay, this is going to be beneficial for them, and that definitely any conflict, once that has been reduced, it is actually reduce the tension, and then reduce the tension among the parties which are there for the conflicts. So what conflict management strategies have been tried in the past? This is again very important analysis that you have to look into, that how this community earlier has actually resilient or fought back from any earlier kind of the conflict. So who were the stakeholders, what are the things that manages the conflict? It's actually help you out in managing the conflict in a present day manner, because the same kind of the community is there, the same kind of the people are there. So if they managed in earlier, so they could also be resolve the conflict, and what are the problems and the challenges arise in that earlier part of the conflict management. So you can also work on those and can reduce those challenges which happened earlier. So this way you can bring a better settlement after any kind of the conflict within a community. So these are some approaches to conflict resolution. It has not been applicable only in the communities, rather it is also the part of the management. So and it could be applied anywhere. So it could be applied to the very interpersonal conflicts, it could be applied to the intercommunity conflicts, it could be applied to any in any corporate world, or anywhere in the political parties. So it could be applied to anywhere. So these approaches of conflict resolution are like, these are the 5 salient approaches to conflict resolution, which may be ranked low or high in importance of the goal achievement, or low or high importance the parties in the conflict situation given to the relationship. So see that importance of here achieving goals, the parties is, how they are actually, what kind of the nature of the the parties of the conflicting are, whether they are putting importance of or giving importance of achieving goals or importance of relationship. Maybe if it is importance of achieving goals, so definitely it is of high degree. If it is high degree, so more conflict is there. But importance of relationship is more, I mean, they will say if they come into that final conclusion, okay, we agree that, okay, if the things will be good, we'll be in a good position, so things will be better. So in that situation, importance of relationship is high, is always a better and easy to manage the conflict, right? So first thing is about the force. Force is what? In this approach of conflict resolution, power dynamics play a control role. When focus is on, here is the force, where importance of achievement is of achieving goals is high and putting relationship into low. I mean, both the parties are actually in a very high level of high degree of competition. So the force is so high. When focus is high on achieving goals with any means, force is the preferred strategy. So here you have to put force. You have to, maybe some time of the kind of authorities has to be involved into this kind to resolve the conflict in this kind of the position when the importance of achievement of goal is high and the relationship is low. But when the accommodation where the this importance of relationship of both the parties is taking as an important aspect, then importance of achieving goals is low. So accommodation here, one of the both parties is the conflicting show high importance of relationship and have intention to continue a strong bond with the other party even at the cost of losing goals. In these cases, a party may choose to accommodate the other party's goals, conceding to all the most of their demands. So in the accommodation, one party whose importance of relationship is high but importance of achievement is low, so they are okay with that. The other party is okay, I agree with, let's give this to the other party and resolve this conflict. So that is what the accommodation. Withdrawal is what, where first is, let's discuss about the consensus. So consensus is the parties give importance to both goal achievement as well as the relationship. Here the consensus okay, win-win approach, let's take this 50% to me and 50% to you. This is what the kind of consensus building. Okay, next is about withdrawal. Withdrawal where, see that importance of achieving goal is low and importance of relationship is also low. So in this approach, either of the parties want to avoid confrontation even when in that process goal remain unachievable. Okay, let it be. Just both the parties is going their own ways. They are not wants to take any achievement, and but also they don't want to be coming closer to each other. This is what the withdraw. Withdraw means totally avoidance. Next is about compromise. Compromise, this approach is based on the minimum. This is the mid, means both the parties is having the balanced amount of the importance of giving a relationship and importance of achieving goals is at the medium level, maybe at 5 to 5, 5 is to 5, so 0 to 10, maybe it's 0 to 10, so it's somewhere 5, right? So compromise is what, at a very midpoint. So this approach is based on the minimum win-lose outcome. It tends to strive a middle path between intentions to goal achievement as well as maintaining a relationship. Okay, limited amount of goal achievement and limited amount of goal attainment and relationship. So this is what the approaches to conflict resolution. You have to look into that. Both the parties at what level, means at whether both the party or any one party is giving importance to achieving goals, or importance is giving to the relationship at what level. So on the basis of this, you can use that either accommodation, withdrawal, consensus, forces. This is definitely is good, where most important, better is the compromise where everything is in equal mode. Even the consensus where the importance of achieving goals is so high in relation so high. So both the parties are at the high level of the win-win approach. Okay, moving ahead. Steps for solving conflict in a community like assessment, establish trust, identify the conflict. We understand that conflict vary in nature and that resolution strategies should be tailored to each specific situation. While a structured resolution can work for some people, others may simply appreciate or comment or reminder of the rules, while others may need a mediator in order to move past of the conflict. So conflict, it could be of many nature. So same way the resolution strategies could also be different, because every party is of the different nature. Take the personalities in your community into account when you sit down to create conflict resolution plan, or simply when you are trying to think about a way to lay matters to rest without further issues. Let's put together a conflict resolution worksheet that could help you to organize your thoughts, get inspired, and get ideas to solve problem in your community, be it a small or larger space. Assessment is the first thing, that by getting information from each party, you may determine the comprehend nature of the issue. So that what we have already discussed, the analysis of the issue and the problem. Then establish trust. The foster a polite and safe space for discussion, get to know the people in the community. Collaboration and open communication depend on trust. So then you have to create a kind of the environment where both the parties can feel trust, and they come forward and they could participate. Then identify the conflict. Note the facts that the chronology of event which paying close attention. What are the reasons behind that particular conflict of the present day nature? and then enumerate all participants, noting their responsibility and connection. You have to observe very carefully how every party or the members actually responded to that particular issue, and you observe even the facial expression and everything. You just noted down all. Recognize the conflict's effects, noting any interruptions, comments. So while speaking someone and other parties, giving their own point of view, this means they are interrupting to others. So you just have to note it down all those, and you can identify that who is actually reactive participants of that conflict resolution mechanism, and who is actively participated and who are passively participated. So you have to develop the strategy accordingly. If the members are actively participated, if the members are negatively participated or reactively participated, or the members are passively participated. So passively is also not good, because passive means something they don't want to share, they don't want to come up with, and they keep that conflict with them. So passive attitude is also not considered to be good. And being a social worker and then community worker, you have to be careful enough and you have to be skillful enough to make that to actually open up and to make that community or community members passiveness into the openness. So it's very important. Moving ahead, discover common goals. Assist the parties in determining common goals of interest that might act as the basis for the settlement. So start from the common thing. What are the common between them? See, both of you belong to the same culture. See, both of you are actually having the same kind of the economic things you are engaged in. Okay, the fight is because of this pond, or this maybe this of the well or this river. So you just have to you can come up with a lot of the solution for that. If one day you can use that, another. So depending on the kind of the issue, I cannot give any example here, because the nature of the conflict may vary from the from community to community. You may witness the different kind of the community conflict within a community while you are working with them. So discovering point of agreement might help in turn attention from divergent viewpoint to the cooperative solution. So start with some kind of the good moods, start with in a good mood, and start with like some kind of the joke, crack some joke, and then bring them into some kind of the agreement. Okay, do you like that movie or not? So what then? In some kind of the commonality, they started your discussion with it. Both the parties feel some kind of the relaxation, and then they feel some kind of the connectedness, right? Communicate clearly and come up with a solution. Come up with a plan to facilitate communication between the parties. You should be very clear in your communication. If they don't have faith in what you're communicating with them. So if they develop this kind of that you are communicating with us differently and to them other, so again the kind of confusion would there, and the conflict is not going to resolve. So you have to be very clear in communicating the parties, and sometimes you have to use some kind of the professional skills, what to communicate and what not to communicate. So many times it's also important. It's again depend on the situation. Encourage everyone to share their perspective and feelings. That is what the passiveness, you have to break the passiveness. So everyone, once they participate and they say, so they definitely come with their maybe some hidden agenda that is somewhere cooking the this conflict. So that once it will come up, that it is going to resolve the conflicts there. Schedule mediation session if necessary. If it is required that, okay, we will meet next week or tomorrow, can we meet again? So some mediation session, if you have given some kind of a suggestion and everything, after 2 days, 3 days, or depending again on the nature of the conflict and the degree of the conflict, you can ask and then to mediate again ki how much they are agree with, how much they have actually come out with the conflict, that thing or not. Use simple language so that all parties fully understand the point being made. See, this is very important for a community worker and a social worker, that your language should be very good. You should not use any kind of the jargons, you should not use any kind of the professional languages while working with the community, because that suits whatever you speak, whatever wear, whatever the way you handle the thing, that should be accordance to the cultural and values of that community, so that they could understand. So communication is prime important aspect of a community worker or the social worker while you're interacting with any client or clientele, be it individual or the group or the community or at the larger level to the nation. Your communication should be very clear. It should not be any kind of the ambiguity is there. It should be very clear, simple. Simplicity is again important for the communication. So simple, it should be simple, it should not be any complicated thing, it should not be any kind of, it's not appear that you are coming with some kind of the hidden agenda or double meaning communication. So it should be very clear, crisp, or with a smile, with a good mood. So you have to communicate. Communication actually is the blessing of human being, right? So with the good communication, you can resolve a lot of the things. You can bring a lot of changes around you, even in your own life. So assess how feasible and realistic the proposed solutions are. Then overall, whatever the solution you have given, you have to be good enough to analyze that, how much that is going to successful in a community. Next is implement and follow up. So after whole analysis and developing the whole strategy, so after following all those steps, social workers can effectively mediate conflict, promote understanding, and foster a healthier relationship with communities. Conflict resolution is a critical skill for social workers engaged in community dynamics. By following structural steps such as assessment, trust building, effective communication, and collaborative negotiation, social worker can facilitate constructive dialogue and promote understanding among conflicting parties. So next would be about implementing and follow. This may involve the developing an action plan or providing resources to support the resolution, right? So you have understand, and the first thing analyze, then meeting, then develop the plan, then now the time for the implementation. Once it is implemented the way, the kind of the solution you have given, you have to follow up that whether that kind of implementation is good or not. And one more thing is very important. I always ask to my students, whenever they develop any kind of the proposal or project or any kind of the activity, always go with the B plan with you. You go with the A plan, so keep the B plan with you. Means once you have developed any kind of the strategy for the conflict resolution, you must have a B plan with you. If it is not, A plan is not going to be successful, you always have a B plan at the time of emergency. If you see that this is not worthy enough, and so that you just have to implement the another one, the B plan, that you always keep. So always keep as a good professional, as a good worker, as a if you want to work actually with all lot of passion in the community, you have to go with all such things. So implement the solutions and monitor its progress, gather feedback from all parties to ensure everyone's satisfaction, schedule follow-up session, and make adjustments as needed. Reflection. Think about the process and its outcome and consider what worked well and what can be improved for next time. So this is what you are as a worker, as a continuously you have to work. If today you are working with this community, you have to work next time to the another community. So that's why it's also the one principle of social work that talks about the controlled emotional involvement. It should not be emotionally attached, but your facial expression should not be like that. You're not emotionally attached. You have to show all kind of the sympathy, and if it is required there in the community, but you should not be attached with one community and only work with one community, and then you forget about the others are waiting for you. You have to work one community for the till it is getting its development and all. And then why I just speaking about this thing, I remember one of my very seniors who was working, who was actually very passionate social worker. I got chance to work with him. So he was actually working with the tribal communities with so much passion, even he forgot to go back to their home. And so every time their family members were so angry with him that he's not coming, he's so passionately working for one community. And then whenever we discuss about that another community is also lacking, no, I have worked with this community. So because he developed the kind of attachment, that's good, that's totally acceptable, and that's because the humans, being human, you have always some kind of the emotion, and maybe you are attached with someone, so that's okay, that's totally okay, that's totally acceptable. But what my point is that being professional, you have to, here my point is that that another community, another issues, other problems are also waiting for you. Being very good, being very skillful, you have to go and to resolve the issues of other community as well. So with this strategies of conflict resolution is like negotiation. You can go with the mediation. So negotiation is what? A time tested and practical way out of any conflict is to talk to the opponent. Negotiation is the process of talks between or among conflict stricken parties in which the substances of the dispute is identified and clearly spelled out, and that there is no passiveness into this. Then attempts have to be made to sort out the differences between their reasoning or logical arguments paves way for an amicable settlement of disputes. Mutual trust is established and very important, and parties weigh options, do cost benefit analysis, and then a mutual give and take is arranged. When negotiation is attempted in a formal political and diplomatic context, an open statement of settlement is announced. Next is mediation. When the level of disputes between the two parties is to the extent that they not ready to talk and negotiate, a third party may intervene and gradually build up positive environment to negotiate by bringing both the parties into the one point. So these are the some very universal form of strategies to negotiate the conflict. But earlier what we have discussed about the whole plan and the conflict resolution mapping, that how you go with the different steps. Adjudication is what? In certain conflict situations where mediation and negotiation do not work, peace through justice or adjudication is the appropriate strategy. It is the judicial settlement of dispute resolution if the things goes beyond your level of control. The law of the land, constitutional measures, international convention related to human rights, or even to the local bodies of panchayats and all, they can do participate into that, and they can act as an means the adjudication would be there. Each of the conflict resolution strategies has its own set of advantages and disadvantages, and therefore depending upon the nature of conflict, probable impact of it, profile of the parties involved, and such other factors should be kept in mind while deciding on the usage of effective approach and strategies. Finally, I would like to conclude here that communities are not just collection of individuals, they are living organisms continually adapting to intellectual and external changes. Development is not just about economic growth, it is about enhancing the capabilities of people to lead the lives they value, as Amartya Sen has said. So community dynamics are characterized by the intrinsic actually internal interaction and interaction between the community, relationship, and the process that shape social structure and collective behavior within a community. As noted by social theorist David J.S. Pincus, communities are not just collection of individuals, they are living organisms, continually adapting or internal and external changes. This highlights the importance of understanding the fluid nature of community interactions, the process involved such as communication, negotiation, and conflict resolution, as vital for fostering cohesion and addressing challenges. As John Dewey said that the art of dealing with the conflict is the art of living together. Effective conflict resolution not only mitigates tensions but also promote understanding and collaboration among community members. Additionally, the structure of a community includes its social norms, hierarchies, and available resources. Significantly, analysis influences how dynamics unfold. Amartya Sen emphasized that development is not just about economic growth, it is about enhancing the capabilities of people to lead the lives they value. This underscores the role of community structure in enabling individuals to thrive and contribute positively. Thank you so much.